happy employees are 12 to 13% more productive. 12 to 13% more productive. So if they are more productive, more happy, they will get quicker raise and faster and growth financially and personal growth as well.
Hello, Side Hustle podcast members, viewers, people just checking in. Welcome to the Side Hustle podcast. I'm Robert Stone from Mr. Taxes, where we bring you weekly entrepreneurs from around the world. Apparently, we're going to start off with just Canadian, but we're easing into the US. We've had a few international guests, and there's a reason for that, and we're going to get into that in a little bit. But first off, let's introduce our guest this week, Kapil Patel, KapilPatel.com. Kapil has been a member of Toastmasters International. He's spoken on stages, and he has a little secret he's going to let out, something he wants to announce here on the podcast. He asked us to save it. So welcome, Kapil, and maybe just start off how we met, what group we're part of and what's going on in your world.
Hey, thanks, Robert. I'm so excited to have an opportunity to share on this your podcast. So thank you for inviting me. And it's really amazing to meet you as a co-author of our book that we are publishing together with a legendary Brian Tracy. So I'm super excited, and I'm currently in Maryland, USA, and I'm back home from India. So I'm super excited to on this podcast. Thank you.
So you're a Gwandi neighbor from the US. So you're not
Say
that
again?
Gwandi. You're not that far from us. So
Yeah, yes. Few hours drive.
let's start out, Kapil. I know you're in business now. You're doing the speaking tour circuit. What were you doing before that? What caused you to get into this area of your life, this new venture that you're doing? We'll talk about the book a little bit later because I know that's very high on your priority list, but let's talk about what you're offering people around the world. And just to make a short note, on your website, it says on KapilPatel.com. We'll have that in the chat area, or if you're listening on Spotify or on Apple, it'll be in the notes. But KapilPatel.com, happiness spreader, makes work taste better. Who doesn't want work to taste better? So tell us about how you got into this, where it started, and where it's going.
Absolutely. When I was 10 years old, I always wanted to help people because I learned from Mahatma Gandhi ji. That's where my state is from, where Mahatma Gandhi ji born, and from Swami Vivekanand. What I learned was serving people is serving God. So I just always wanted to help people. Initially, I started out, okay, I wanted to become a cricketer. It didn't work out. And then I said, okay, I want to serve my country as an Air Force pilot. And then I got my eyeglasses. So then I cannot become a pilot as well. Then I said, okay, now, I wanted to become a doctor and help people. But somehow that also didn't work out. I was little bit short from getting the good grades that I need to get into the good medical college. That's how I stumbled into the IT field. I became an IT engineer. I went to UK. There is a little bit more story about my UK and working at the KFC, but that is in the book, so I will not give all the secret away. So check out the book. But so after I went to UK, I learned some ideas that how I can be happy at work because I didn't find the job and I have to work at the KFC. So I started enjoying the work, and then I came to USA in 2006, and then almost like I walk. And when I came here, I was surprised. Like, people were talking about, oh, it's a Wednesday, when the Friday will come. I was surprised because I couldn't relate with them initially. And then they were like, having a Monday blues and all those things. But I was fortunate that I didn't get it until 2013. So when it's 2013, I realized that I wanted to become a professional speaker. And in that realization, but I didn't have a courage. I didn't have a leap of faith that I can directly jump into and become a professional speaker from IT.
But
So
also,
over the
Kapil,
period,
I'm going to stop there.
yeah,
But also, a lot of people want to be a speaker. Some people are great speakers, but they don't have a stage either. So, keep that question in mind. But how do you create a stage for those listeners that are aspiring to be a speaker? How do you create a stage to be able to speak on your subject or your profession or your
yeah,
passion?
sure, definitely. I think you shared a little bit great idea. I started becoming a better speaker when I joined Toastmasters. I believe you are also Toastmasters. I would highly recommend each and every one person should become a Toastmaster member. Not only if you want to become a professional speaker, but you can learn leadership skills, and also you get the most amazing, positive, uplifting environment where you get very good, positive, constructive feedback. It's just unbelievable. So I highly recommend, it's toastmasters.org. Highly recommend to join it to become a better presenter at your work, or communicate better, or have a stage time as well. So yes, so that's how, like, my dream realization happened when I joined Toastmasters. On the first year of Toastmaster, I said, okay, I learn about the world champion of public speaking. And I said, I want to become a world champion of public speaker. And then I started participating and then giving the speech at different places. And I had amazing mentors and coaches, unbelievable people who helped me. And I went up to the fourth stage, which is district level. I was runners up there. I should be happy, but I was disappointed because, Robert, you might know, in order to go to the next level, you have to be number one. If you're number two, then you are out of the race, at least for that year.
But Kapil, number two, you were the winner of all the losers.
I agree, but I didn't feel at that
Of course.
moment because I was so into going to the world championship.
So are you still competitive at Toastmasters? Are you still pursuing that goal to become the world champion?
I have again joined back after almost 10 years break. But yes, I competed in the Toastmasters for world champion of public speaking. But now I have change my goal. Instead of becoming a world champion, I'm focusing on becoming a better speaker. Whatever I am working on becoming, providing professional speaking and keynote speech. So I work on honing my speech and honing my message. So that's what I keep doing it. Going back to, right. So on in 2013, when I was placed at second, now I felt so much compelling force inside me that I should become professional speaker and help people. So in that moment, I started feeling disconnected with my IT work, and I started having my Monday blues. And it took me almost many years before I am now on a journey to become a professional full-time speaker and an author. But till that time, I have to find out a way to get up on Monday and be happy about it rather than keep snoozing the alarm and wait for Friday to be happy. So I started reading books from happiness advantage to happiness hypothesis. I started interviewing people from barbers to CEO who are unusually happy at work because I wanted to learn from them. And I started learning from them. Once I started learning, and then over the period of I have some of the challenges, and I have get into the training, unleash the power within, and also I call it like next level training, which is basically emotional intelligence level training. These two training also help me to discover myself, discover ideas and simple tools to become more engaged, more fulfilled, and more happy at work. That's how my journey started. And once I was on journey, I realized, oh, and then I found that almost 66 percentage employees are disengaged as per the Gallup 2023 employee engagement survey. And that is costing $8.9 trillion across the world in productivity lost.
I saw a great meme the other day. It said this guy was on the phone calling in happy to work. And I thought about, our meeting coming up here to record the podcast. And it said, called his boss and he said, "Hey, I'm happy. I'm not coming into work. I don't want to waste it on work." So instead of calling in sick, he called in happy. And that made me think of our upcoming recording here in the podcast. But why don't more people do that? Why don't more people focus on the happiness part and part of their life instead of at work? I know you're focused on the workforce, but if you can carry that over into the personal life.
Yeah, so definitely, right? Like, so when I experience Monday blues, then I can relate with them as well. There are many reasons. So what I have started doing is understanding the existing surveys, but I did survey of 250 plus employees. Try to understand what is causing them to be not happy, not engaged, not fulfilled at work. There are various reasons for different people. One of them is simple. Only there are 4% of people who are enjoying their childhood dream. They are in their childhood dream career. There are just only 4% people. Those 96% people, they are not in the dream career. Then almost like 85 to 90% employees, they are not even in their ideal career. So that is one reason, but it's not the only reason. There are other reasons that, okay, now social medias, I'm surprised, right? Some of the content creators, they just want to spread the content. So what they come up and say, oh, at work you don't have your friends, just go do the work and go home and enjoy your life. No, you are spending, if all employees or all the people on an average, they spend 40 years of life, from 24 to 25 years to 65 years. That is 40 years of your prime time, because that's when you are young, smarter, experienced, better. And during that time, we spend 8 to 10 hours a day. And if you count the sleeping hours, 8 hours outside, so almost you are at work more than 50% of time. And if you are not happy at work, you are just missing out like 50% of your happiness. So it shouldn't be I just learned recently from Dr. Tim Sharp. He has been doing 20 years of positive psychology, and he has written really amazing book. It's called Habits for Happiness at Work. And in that book also, he says that it's not a life and work balance. We need life and work integration. So that's missing for so many people. And that's why I feel that I personally experience. So I just wanted to help employees. Not only that, the Penn State University has done the research, and they says happy employees are 12 to 13% more productive. 12 to 13% more productive. So if they are more productive, more happy, they will get quicker raise and faster and growth financially and personal growth as well.
So instead of, we're talking about what you do, but without giving away your secret recipe or the secret code or the secret to KFC or the caramel bar, Kapil Patel's happiness at work formula. Let's help our listeners out. Let's give them one or two things, simple things that you cover in your course. They'll have to sign up and participate in one of your
Yeah,
programs to get the full package. But what are two simple things that we can do at work to make ourselves happier?
wonderful. Definitely. One simple tool I always talk about is smile and sincere compliment, which is really, really underused. British researchers has found that a smile can produce as much as positive neuron activities in your brain as much as eating 2000 bars of chocolate. One chocolate can make you happy or give you boost in your mood, but just one smile, almost 2000 bars of chocolate. It's also, they have done the same research. Yes.
I just smiled twice, so I just ate 4,000 bars of chocolate. I'm gonna have to go for a walk after the podcast. Gonna have to go
Yes.
for a little walk.
Yes, but the best part is smile is not unhealthy like chocolate. So
No
when you are
calories in
smiling,
the smile. No
yes,
calories.
yes, when you are smiling, you are happier, you are healthier. And So nowadays, like, when I go and meet any stranger or any employees or anyone, always I smile. And when I smile, most of the time they mimic the smile as well. Even though they have frown face or they have like Monday blues or anything, it just, there is a research also done that even though if your manager has frown face or any colleague are frown, you can change the, and literally change the culture and literally change the environment. When you smile, other people will not have choice but to smile back to you. And then you can just say simply, Robert, you have good smile. Keep smiling.
I was on we were on a group chat with a referral partner in the US, and we were doing a podcast. We were guests for someone else. So there's myself and an American counterpart doing similar things that we do. And while the host of the podcast was introducing us, we had a photo up on the screen of each of us. It was just our photo. So I had the photo shoot done for Brian Tracy, and the photographer saying, smile, getting me in a good mood before making, get the most out of it. I was really happy with the pictures, and I have a big beaming smile, and I can't remember smiling that big. But the other guy that was on the podcast, and I won't mention names, you'll be able to find it. He was on, his photo was up, and he did not have a smile. Now, he's 20 years younger. He's probably 5 times better looking, but he came on and said, wow, you threw me under the bus by putting that great photo of Robert on there. The only difference was the smile.
Oh, yeah. So true. And then you will be surprised. University has done, Penn State University, I was talking about, right? So, Penn State University has done the research. Smile makes you look courteous, likable. Not only that, more competent, more competent. So if you are an owner or employer, and then if you have two employees, one employee is smiling more, one employee is smiling less, both are same competent, same qualification, same degree. One who is smiling more, they will bring more business because he will appear more competent. He will appear more likable. It's so much powerful. With that one simple tool, smile and sincere compliment, you can change whole entire organization's culture. You can make the culture positive, thriving, and happy culture.
Next time your kids, if you're listening and you have kids and they ask you for a chocolate bar, just tell them to smile, and they're good for 3.5 years.
That's a great advice. That's a great
One
advice. And
chocolate bar a day for one smile.
yeah, yeah, definitely. And you know what? Children smiles 400 times a day compared to the on an average adult who smiles only 20 times per day.
That's great. That's great. So we learned a little bit about what we need to do to, improve our happiness at work, to, to start creating a smile. And you have a program that you're offering. We won't get into the program. We'll put it in the link. So if you're interested, in finding out more, reach out, set up a call with Kapil. What we're going to talk about now is a big opportunity where we met. We met because we're both writing a chapter in Brian Tracy's 93rd book. And Kapil was reaching out to us, asking about our podcast. We said, why don't we get on? We came up with the idea to actually have all of the co-authors with Brian Tracy on our podcast, and we're going to put them in a separate group on our YouTube channel. So you can listen to all the other speakers that we've interviewed so far and all the ones that are going to be coming on. Why, Kapil, write a book? What prompted you to write the book? I got the same opportunity. We had somebody reach out through social media, an ad. I followed up, but you jumped on the opportunity like 18 others of us or 19 others. Why did you jump on that opportunity, and why the book?
So, like, as I mentioned, once I finished my bachelor, I went to UK for my master's. I finished my master's from Lancaster University, and I did my mechatronics engineering. And after I finished my master's, I applied almost hundreds of jobs, and I didn't find the job. All I find the job in KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken, not to develop their software, but to scrub their floor, dishes, and toilets. My dreams were shattered. I was disappointed and not happy at KFC, frankly speaking. That's when my best friend, Sanjay Singh, he gave me this book, You Can Win. You Can Win. It's really amazing book that changed my perspective. It taught me so many lessons, but one of the lesson was important lessons I learned, which I talk about in the book. But that book changed my life, changed my character, changed who am I. So once I was so inspired and got benefited, I thought I want to write a book. That from that 2003, I had that dream. And over the years passed, and at certain point, I said, I remember I want to write a book. I don't want to die before I write a book. And that's how almost 3 4 years back, I wrote my first book with co-author. We around 12 authors, 12 leaders who did the training, emotional intelligence training from the next level. And along with that, we wrote this book. So that time I wrote a book. Once I wrote that book, that was my first. It was desperation rather than like making the difference. Frankly speaking, I inspired all the other leaders and say, okay, let's write the book. But then I thought that like I want to write another next book. And when I write that next book, I want to write a book which can impact positively for so many people. And that's how. And also Brian Tracy, I read his book called Eat That Frog because I needed to work on my time management, frankly speaking. And I was so impressed. I got some practical tools and tips from that that book is like a best-selling book. So I was really inspired. And then when I got this opportunity to become a co-author of this book, I was thinking, should I be a co-author along with other 17, 18, or should I write my own personal book? So I said, okay, let me ask my friends, my colleagues, and also most importantly, the fans who are on my social media, who are on social media and who are listening and inspiring me and supporting me and getting inspired through my blogs. I did a survey and I was surprised. I thought that they would want, like, they know me, so they would wanted to have a book from me, a whole book, rather than other 18. But surprisingly, they said we would prefer from other 17 leaders as well. Once I started writing book, I realized why. Because on that one chapter, I spent almost 50 hours of time. I created almost 8 to 10 versions. And at one point, editor said, you are taking my too much time. So I realized if we have 18 leaders, if 18 leaders are writing just one chapter, they will be sharing the best version, best experience. Rather than if I write all the 10, 12 chapters, then I will be a little bit spread out. So that's also one of the reasons why I decided to join with Brian Tracy.
A great speaker, Les Brown, who started out as a radio DJ, said that the greatest library in the world is not Amazon. It's not the New York City Library collection. It is a cemetery. He said, because most people don't write that book before they pass. They have that book in their head and they don't take the time to put it out. They don't take the time to put pen to paper. For some, they think it's a massive uphill battle. I can assure you that I did not finish high school. I failed English. I failed out of the communication program in the accounting program, which did not allow me to get into accounting after I finished 4 or 5 years out of high school. So I tried to get back into college and I failed that course 3 times. So I was expelled from the program. Actually, like Brian says, I get a leaving certificate. They said you can leave the program. So yeah, Les Brown says the greatest library in the world is a cemetery. So I'm so glad you took the time, and to reflect and share with our listeners the inspiration, because it doesn't take a lot to write a book. They spend more time on social media than it takes to write a
Absolutely.
book. Just, Brian Tracy also says most people end up, I'm going to make the analogy to writers, they end up on Someday Isle. Do you know where that island is?
No.
Someday I'll get around to writing a
Ah,
book. and that
Yes,
book
that's
never
true.
gets written. So yeah, we're really looking forward to see your chapter. Maybe what you could do once the podcast is edited, we get it up and published, is share a couple excerpts from your chapter, a couple paragraphs, and then we can share it on the podcast so people can get to know what to expect. And then the link for your book as well. We'll have that in the comment section, in the podcast on our YouTube channel, but also on Spotify and Apple. So what's next?
Absolutely.
So the book is coming. The book will be done shortly. It'll be published, and we're going to have the release in November for each of our contributions to the book. What's coming after this, Kapil? What's next for KP?
Do you know Craig Valentine?
Yes, not
Yes.
personally, but I know Craig Valentine. Yes, sir.
Yes, Craig Valentine is the world champion of public speaking.
He's one of them.
And yes,
Which
one of
year?
them.
Which year did Craig win?
I believe 1999, 1999 world champion of public speaking. He spoke almost 100 plus countries. Not only he is an amazing speaker, but he is an extraordinary speaking coach and keynote coach as well. I was very fortunate to have his coaching. I took 8 weeks of program to create my craft, create my keynote speech, 60 to 90 minutes keynote speech. That's I have already launched, and I will be on a mission to help and inspire happiness at work, increase the happiness, productivity, and engagement at work, increase the retention ratio as well. I help employees to find the meaning, purpose in their current work, not the future work, but the current work, because we need to find that juice in our current work in order to get going and have enjoying and passion about it. So that's what I'm going to help the companies. So in next 90 days, I'm taking 5 clients whom I will help to create that thriving, positive, and uplifting culture and increase their productivity. So what they will accomplish in 12 years, instead of waiting for 12 years, probably they might be able to achieve that in 10 years, 8 years, 6 years. So that's what I'm on a journey. I will be giving my keynote speech across the USA along with book signing.
I had a I had a previous employer, one of my first accounting employers. I think it was my first contract work, which I talk about in my chapter in the book. Very interesting employer that I had, but he had one of his right-hand men would always talk to the employees, and the employees, if they ever complained at work, they would come to him and they would be saying it was a construction company, the trucks didn't work, or I can't handle the weather's horrible on the job site, so and so's not. He always said, hey, if you're not happy here, I will give you a great reference. Just let us know where you want to go. And looking at we do accounting. So looking at the payroll records for this company, once I started with them, they had just under 100 employees, but the tenure for most of those employees is ridiculously high. I've never seen tenure like that. The average employee was 15 to 20 years with this company,
Wow.
kept them. And you hear about the cost of hiring new people when they leave, when they change a job, there's a conflict. But now you've opened my eyes to happiness at work. And these guys, they were paid well. They treated them well, but everybody has something going on in their life, of course.
Right. Yeah. Right.
But
Right. Right.
I think if you can find a way to get happiness at work, it's going to solve the majority of those problems. I'm not wrong, am I, Kapil?
Absolutely. Not only that, when you are happy at work, when you are engaged at work, you carry that to the evening with your family, with your kids. You carry that over the weekend as well, rather than just when you are not happy at the work, what you do at home when you go home. Most of those people just do watch movies or binge watching Netflix
We had a
because,
coach one time, we were going to coaching program, and he says, if you're not happy at work, what do you have at home? He says, more not happy.
yeah, that's true.
If
That's
you bring
true.
on
I'm
negative thoughts in your head, what you get? More negative thoughts. If you
absolutely.
manifest money, what do you get? You get more money. It's what
Yeah.
you think is what you sow.
Right, right. And I have learned from someone, I forgot the person's name, but What you do at one thing, you do at the same thing
Oh,
everywhere
yes.
else as well. So if you are not engaged, not happy at work, you carry that into your personal life as well. It's not like, oh, I'm not happy for 5 days, let me just enjoy my weekend. But weekend just go by quickly while just watching movies. Yes, you will have happiness or some kind of comfort level, but is you will reach it after watching two or like 8 hours of movies or TV series yourself. You will beat yourself up as well. So yeah, it's very important. And for employer Robert, it was very surprising. I just listened from one book, and again, guess what? He's also Toastmaster, runners up, world champion. So he is not world champion, but runners up. His book is Take the Stair. I would recommend you to check out and all other listeners to check out. One of the
We'll make sure
amazing
and get
books.
all the books you've mentioned into the notes here in the
Yes,
podcast. So if you're watching
absolutely.
on YouTube, they're in the comments. If you're watching on Apple again or Spotify, it'll be in the notes.
Yeah.
So
So take
Kapil,
the stair.
yeah,
So
thanks.
he says take the stair instead of taking the elevator. And in
Ooh,
that he said in USA there was a survey done, and independently employee responded saying that they are wasting 2 hours of their work every single day. So in their 8 hour work, they waste 2 hours, just do 6 hours. So almost 25% the employer is losing that productivity. Imagine. So on an average minimum salary, let's say you count $40,000 annually, $10,000 loss per employee.
wow.
Imagine you have 50 employees, you are losing $500,000. And if you have like 100 employees, you are losing minimum $1 million in just productivity lost. And not only that, that's for employer, right? And that's where I can help with those employers to change that perspective. And it's not going to like overnight, but it's gradual small incremental changes, and then whole and culture environment changes. And also for the employee, when you are losing the 25%, many of the people, oh, it's not my business, I don't care. No, you are losing your 25% of your time for your productive years of your life. And that reflects in your personal growth, financial growth. And that's when you get negativity more and depression and anxiety, because you are not growing, because you are just going there and just killing the time.
So Kapil, if somebody's interested in your program, give us your website, give us the menu on the website to take a look or sign up for a consult or a chat with you to hear more about your programs. Give us your website
Sure.
and the link.
Sure. My website is kapilpatel.com, and new website is coming, which is inspiringhappinessatwork.com. So you can reach out to me through this website, as well as I have my LinkedIn, linkedin.com/in/Kapil R. Patel. LinkedIn.com/in/Kapil R. Patel.
We will make sure and get that in the chat area as well. Kapil, thanks so much for coming on. We look forward to seeing your book. We'll send it.
Robert, before,
But wait,
okay.
there's more. But wait, there's more.
Okay, all right. Sounds good. I have a question for you. Okay, so my question was, you mentioned about your failure in the high school. I want to know that what like what are your aha moment, or what changed the perspective? You are one of the business owner and you have very successful business. So tell me a little bit about what business you do, why you do, and your one or two tips from your failure, success, whatever you call.
Thanks so much for now being interviewed by Kapil, but thank you. No, I left high school to pursue a career in the trades. My family was working in the trades. I worked in that industry for about 12 years. I was doing very well, but I didn't plan the business property. I didn't plan for catastrophes. What happened was I broke my neck and I had to change careers. I was about 2 years. I mean, my head is so good now, I could almost be Indian, right? But or my neck. But I had about a year and a half to 2 years of rehabilitation, physiotherapy, massage therapy. And in that time, I had to find a different career. So I started doing basic bookkeeping. I found that it came very easy to me. And so you have to, be happy at work. I was not happy at first, but what I found was the more I pursued that particular new career, I started to excel in it because I was finding hidden talent. So take the chance, take the risk. Don't wait for, a catastrophe or an injury to go and find that job that you really want to pursue. Why stay at a job you're not happy at? You can try as much as you want, but if you're in the wrong environment, you will never be happy. So I think there's a part of that as well. It's not just, working with Kapil and taking the course, because if you're in the wrong environment, the wrong seeds in the wrong soil will not grow. The wrong seeds in the wrong weather. I heard that money trees do not grow outside. A guy that works with us is now purchasing the money trees for his clients, and we were thinking about cloning them and growing them, and he said they don't grow outside. You have to have the right environment. So I think that's part of it. That's my only, advice. I don't want to steal Kapil's thunder here on his podcast. So let's wrap it up there, Kapil. We have your website. We have everything. Thanks a million for being on. And for all our side hustlers, we'll see you on the next episode.
Thank you, Robert.
When's the next call with Brian, or the next team call?
They say 10th, so Thursday.
This Thursday, correct? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I will see you on there.
All right, Robert. So what happened to your neck? Just like maybe
I
a couple
jumped
of
off a
minutes.
train
How?
with my feet. I just lean down and I extend my legs and I jump off the train.
Why?
I was getting a ride. I was too lazy to walk, and but the train started going faster and faster, and it was too late. I had to jump off, or I was going to end up in the US. So that's my story. It was
Oh
a
my God.
silly, stupid thing to do, but my legs hit something and I tumbled over on my head. And that was it. It's amazing, the power of vehicles or train or plane. That's, it could have been much worse.
Yeah, but I'm glad that you are back.
I
You're
lived to tell the story. I lived to tell the story. So that's great.
it's now normal, 100%. Or
Yeah, it's
still
very
you
good. It's
have
very
little
good.
bit.
Lots of strength, lots of, I'd say honestly, there's no pain whatsoever. And maybe flexibility, 98%. I don't notice, I can,
Wow,
well, but for
that's
years I
pretty
was
good.
doing physio, and they put 3 discs in my neck. They replaced 3 discs with the synthetic discs. I don't know how they do it, but they do it.
Wow.
Magic.
And you did boxing as well for a while?
Yeah, that was before the injury, but part of that maybe having the strong neck helped recover. I don't know. I'm just blessed. I'm lucky, and
Oh yes, we are blessed. Every day is a blessing.
inshallah, right?
Inshallah.
God willing, God willing.
God willing. All right, you have another call, so I'll let you go. We'll
Yeah,
catch up.
awesome. I'm really happy with it. I think it's going to turn out great, and then we'll get you copies of everything, and then we'll get on another call maybe.
Thank you. Just a question. How much do the Philippines team charges? Like, do they charge hourly or video
I have
wise
them
or
both full time working for us, so I don't know how much,
full
but
time?
you
Okay.
can get, but they do all our social media, they do the podcast editing, they do social media video editing for us, they work with our CRM, they answer calls for clients. So I don't know how much, just for the podcast, but I think you can get a podcast complete editing for like $40,
Oh, okay. Cool.
which is not bad, right? And if you do
Yeah.
one a week, that's 50 weeks, that's $2,000, and you have 1 year full of podcasts.
Yeah. I think that's not a bad idea. So thank you. I'll if I need, definitely I'll check it out. Check with you.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Keep smiling.
Bye bye.
All right, bye.